A writer creates the story, and the director reshapes it. But what happens when vision turns into a battleground? Quentin Tarantino disowned natural-born killers after Oliver Stone rewrote his script beyond recognition. When two creative forces clash, who truly owns the story? A common point of contention arises when the director's interpretation deviates from the writer's original vision. For instance, a writer might envision a scene with a somber tone, focusing on the internal turmoil of a character. The director, however, might choose to portray this scene with a more upbeat tempo, using dynamic camera movements and lively music, thereby altering the intended emotional impact. Such differences can lead to disputes over tone, character development, pacing, and narrative structure. Studios often exacerbate these tensions by siding with directors over writers. This preference stems from the perception that directors, being the visual storytellers, have a more significant influence on the marketability and artistic success of a film. Consequently, directors are frequently granted the final cut, allowing them to make substantial changes to the script, sometimes without the writer's consent. This practice can lead to feelings of frustration and disillusionment among writers, who may see their original work transformed into something unrecognizable. In some cases, these creative differences can lead to public disputes and long-lasting feuds between writers and directors. Such conflicts highlight the delicate balance of collaboration in filmmaking and underscore the importance of clear communication and mutual respect between all parties involved. In the early 1990s, Quentin Tarantino penned a screenplay titled Natural Born Killers, envisioning a gritty, character-driven narrative that delved into the lives of Mickey and Mallory Knox, a pair of lovers turned serial killers. Tarantino's script was a raw exploration of violence and media sensationalism, infused with his signature sharp dialogue and non-linear storytelling. Enter Oliver Stone, a director known for his bold and often controversial filmmaking style. Stone acquired Tarantino's script and saw an opportunity to amplify its commentary on media culture. He, along with writers David Veloz and Richard Rutowski, undertook significant rewrites. The narrative focus shifted from the intimate portrayal of the protagonists to a broader satire on the media's role in glorifying violence. Stone employed a frenetic visual style, utilizing rapid cuts, mixed media, and surreal imagery to create a chaotic viewing experience. Tarantino was less than pleased with these alterations. Feeling that his original vision had been compromised, he chose to distance himself from the project, opting to receive only a story-by credit rather than a screenplay credit. This decision was a clear indication of his disapproval and a move to publicly disassociate from the final product. Hollywood's history is peppered with creative disputes between writers and directors, each leaving a unique mark on the films we know today. These clashes often stem from differing visions, leading to tensions that can significantly influence a film's final form. Take, for instance, the 1959 epic Ben-Hur. Gore Vidal, brought in to refine the script, introduced a nuanced subtext suggesting a past romantic relationship between Judah Ben-Hur and Messala. Vidal believed this backstory would intensify the personal conflict driving the narrative. However, director William Wyler was cautious about such implications, given the conservative climate of the time. While Vidal claimed that actor Stephen Boyd, Messala, was directed to play up this subtext, Charlton Heston, Ben-Hur, vehemently denied any such portrayal. This disagreement over character motivations led to a lasting feud, with Heston dismissing Vidal's contributions and Vidal asserting his intentional inclusion of the subtext. In 1976, Taxi Driver emerged from the collaboration between writer Paul Schrader and director Martin Scorsese. Schrader's script delved deep in the psyche of Travis Bickle, a disillusioned Vietnam veteran navigating New York's seedy underbelly. Scorsese's cinematic interpretation, however, introduced elements and scenes that Schrader hadn't envisioned. For example, Scorsese added a scene featuring Harvey Keitel's character, which Schrader initially opposed. These additions led to debates over character portrayal and thematic focus. Despite their differences, the film's critical acclaim underscored the potency of their combined talents, even if the journey was fraught with tension. The 1979 sci-fi classic Alien also witnessed creative friction. Dan O'Bannon's original script painted the alien creature with a specific life cycle and behavior. Director Riley Scott, aiming for a more suspenseful narrative, made alterations that heightened the horror elements, sometimes at the expense of O'Bannon's detailed exposition. O'Bannon felt that these changes diluted the scientific plausibility he had meticulously crafted, leading to disputes over storytelling approaches. Nevertheless, the film's success demonstrated that Scott's vision resonated with audiences, even if it diverged from the writer's intent. Fast forward to 2010, and television saw its share of creative disputes with The Walking Dead. Frank Darabont, the show's original showrunner, envisioned a character-driven narrative that closely followed the comic source material. However, as the series progressed, disagreements arose between Darabont and AMC executives over budget constraints and the show's direction. AMC pushed for more action-oriented sequences, while Darabont championed deeper character development. These conflicts culminated in Darabont's dismissal, leading to legal battles and a noticeable shift in the show's tone in subsequent seasons. These instances highlight the delicate balance between a writer's vision and a director's interpretation. While conflicts can lead to tension, they also have the potential to produce films and shows that are richer for their diverse perspectives. In the intricate dance of filmmaking, studios often play the role of both benefactor and overseer. Studios, driven by financial imperatives, frequently influence creative decisions to ensure a film's marketability. This can manifest in mandates to alter storylines, adjust character arcs, or modify endings based on test audience feedback or prevailing market trends. Such interventions can sideline the original visions of both writer and directors, leading to tensions and compromises that may not align with the creative team's intentions. A noticeable example is the 1982 film Blade Runner. Director Ridley Scott and screenwriter Hampton Fancher envisioned a complex noir-inspired narrative. However, studio executives, concerned about the film's accessibility, insisted on adding a voice-over narration and a more optimistic ending. Scott and Fancher were resistant, but the studio's demands prevailed. Years later, with the release of the director's cut, audiences were presented with a version closer to the original vision, sparking debates about artistic integrity and studio influence. The tension between creative teams and studios has also given rise to the phenomenon of director's cuts and, less commonly, writer's cuts. These versions aim to restore the creator's original intentions, free from studio-mandated alterations. For instance, James Cameron's Alien saw a director's cut release that included extended scenes and character development moments omitted from the theatrical version due to studio-imposed runtime constraints. In the film industry, the relationship between writers and directors is often complex, with legal and ethical considerations playing a significant role. One key aspect is the determination of screenwriting credits, which is governed by the Writers Guild of America, or WGA. The WGA has established specific rules to ensure that writers receive appropriate recognition for their contributions. For instance, a writer must have contributed at least 33% of the final script to receive credit. This system is designed to protect writers' rights and ensure fair acknowledgement of their work. Contracts between writers and production companies further define the scope of a writer's involvement and the extent of their control over the script. These agreements typically outline who has the final say over script changes. In many cases, directors or producers hold this authority, which can lead to tensions if alterations are made that deviate from the writer's original vision. Such contractual stipulations underscore the importance of clear terms to prevent disputes during production. The ethical debate surrounding the preservation of a writer's original intent is a long-standing one. On one hand, the writer crafts the narrative and characters, embedding their creative vision into the script. On the other hand, the director interprets this script to create a visual and emotional experience for the audience. When directors make significant changes, it raises questions about the integrity of the original work. Should the writer's vision remain intact, or does the director have the creative license to modify it to better suit the cinematic medium? This debate highlights the need for a collaborative approach, where both parties respect each other's contributions and work towards a unified vision. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below.